Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the session today. Let's wait for 2 more minutes, and we will start the session. A very good morning, everyone. Let us start the session. I welcome you all for the session today. So let us discuss today. About the data engineering. This is going to be a workshop, right? So let us discuss what is exactly a data engineering. So, and what are the tools required to learn about the data engineering, and why the data engineering very famous nowadays, and what is the primary goal of a data engineering, and what are the tools mainly using, what are the technologies, what are the processes, everything one by one we will discuss today, guys. Okay, so this is the agenda of our today's class. Explain the what is data engineering, and we will go. I am going to describe you the roles and responsibilities of a data engineering, and later we will see what is a data life cycle, and I'm going to explain you the basic concepts regarding the what is OLTP, what is OLAP, because nowadays people are very confusing, in a very confusion that they do not know what exactly the OLTP, what is meant by the OLAP, what is a data warehouse, what is a data lake. So all of these things we will see one by one, and I will also tell you about what is a SQL databases, what is a NoSQL databases, and we will see what is the course content in my course. From tomorrow onwards my course is going to join, right, start, right? So I'm going to tell you what are the course content that we are going to have, and that's where we will be ending our session today. Okay, so if you allow me, I'm going to explain. First, let me start with my introduction. So my name is Shaik Saidhul, guys. I have completed my master's degree from National Institute of Technology, Tiruchirappalli. Currently, I am working as a data architect at a top MNC company. And so this is all about me, guys. So let us start with what is the data engineering first. Okay. Before explaining the data engineering, I just want you to understand. So some people say, or I would say usually when I start with the data engineering, I usually say to my students that so data engineering is very similar to the civil engineering, guys. What does that mean, sir? If you ask me, a data engineering is similar to the civil engineering. So what does that mean? I'll try to explain. So usually, for example, you think that you wanted to construct a home, a comfortable home, a good looking home at one location, right? So this is what is your main requirement. You wanted to construct a home, guys. Okay. What do you wanted to do? You wanted to construct a home. So this is your home. Okay, this is what you wanted to do. But before constructing a home, just think, let us think about it. What are the main requirements that we need? Okay, usually for constructing a home, we need a raw material, right? So we're gonna get a raw material from different locations. The raw material, either it can be sand or bricks or equipment, right? So you need a sand, you need a bricks, right? And you need a cement, and you need what, guys? Some other equipment also you need it. Okay, so with the help of these things, and do you really think that all of these things available in one location? No, right? So this may be there in a different locations. What do you wanted to do? You gonna go to that particular location, you try to export that kind of a sand or a bricks or a cement or equipment from that location to the location where you wanted to construct a home. Okay, you wanted to bring all of this into one place where you wanted to construct a home. Think that you are constructing a home here and you gonna get all of the raw material near to the home where you wanted to construct, so that later you can easily process them and directly construct a home. So what you do, you go to the sand, you get them and keep it here. Again the bricks like that, again the cement like that, again the equipment also you get them and keep it in one location. Okay, this is a placeholder or storage layer. Okay, this is a storage layer. You're gonna keep all of these different material or a raw material in one location. That is what I'm calling as a storage layer, or a whatever it is, some location or some place, a placeholder to store all of these things. And if I keep all of these things here, that does the home will be constructed automatically? No, right? So what do we need to do, guys? We need to use a sand, a mixture of sand, cement, as well as water, and try to process it. Okay, what do? We create a mixture of sand, cement, as well as water, and we will use that mixture to construct a wall with help of the bricks. So that is what I am doing, what I am calling as a process. Okay, what, when I say a process, what is mean by process, guys? I try to prepare a mixture of these three things and use the bricks to construct a wall, so that my one wall will be finished. Likewise, one more wall. Likewise, one more wall. After that, roof. Everything will be completed by the after some time. Okay, with the help of what, guys? This is very important. Processing is very important. If you don't do the process, however the raw material at the initial location or a source location, that's where we will be having in the storage layer also. But if you do some kind of a processing, then only you will be able to construct one wall, second wall, third wall, fourth wall, roof. At some point of time, you will be able to construct a home. Okay, and is this our final requirement? Do I just wanted to construct a wall, a few walls and a roof? That's enough? No, right? So we wanted to make sure that my house looks cosmetically good. So what I will do, I will add doors, I will add some colors, I will add some painting, so that my house looks in a very decent as well as a colorful way. So that's what I will do, is like I will add some colors. Okay, add some colors, so that this is what is my home, guys. Now what is this thing, guys? The processed element is the main thing for our even in the data world also, or a data engineering also. In a data engineering also, we get a data from multiple data sources, either the data coming from a web server or an application or an IoT or some other RDBMS or maybe a CSV files or a Parquet files. You get a data from a different locations and different formats. Okay, you get the data into the different locations and different formats, guys. That is our main intention. It's not that I'm just getting the data which is of same format. It is not like that. You get a data, either the data coming from a IoT. Okay, sorry. Okay, so instead of naming all of those things, I'll just mention like this, guys. So okay, let me remove it 1 minute. So you get a data from a web server and an IoT and a web application or an application or some other RDBMS or a CSV file. Okay, so you get the data from a multiple locations and a different formats. The sources are different, like how you have here. And what is your first step? You have to get the data into the one location where you can easily process the data. Okay, that's where we try to ingest the data into the one storage layer. So this is what is the ingestion. Once you have ingested into the storage layer, some people call it as a staging layer. Some people nowadays, if you are working in a big data, they are calling as a data lake. Okay, so this is what is a data lake. So you ingest the data from a multiple data sources and ingest it into the data lake. A data lake is what, sir? We will see in a definition what is a data lake, what is a data warehouse later. And what do? Once the data is available in a data lake, I try to process the data because the data that I have with me in the storage layer may not be in a direct usable format. Okay, may not be in a direct usable format. So what I do, I'll try to clean the data. I'll try to prepare the data. So after processing, for processing, there can be a plenty of tools, guys. Okay, some people say Spark, some people say Hadoop, some people say data flow, some people say Apache Beam I'll use, some people say different form. There are plenty of tools to process the data. We will see in our course what are the tools that we can use. Okay, and once we process the data, where we are storing, because this is not our main requirement, right? Processing is one thing, but we need that data to be available to the downstream people so that they can create some dashboards on top of it, or they can create some machine learning models on top of it, or they can directly consume the data for decision making purpose. Okay, so that is where this storage layer I'm calling as a data warehouse. Okay, so once the data in the data lake, you try to process that data and send it to the data warehouse. Data warehouse is a centralized location where you store any amount of data in the form of a structured format. And once you have the data in the data warehouse, the main intention of a data warehouse is to improve your business. How do you improve your business? By analyzing the data. If I wanted to analyze the data, I need to have the data readily available. So that's where you process. And if I wanted to analyze, again, the data to be in a correct format, it should not having any duplications, it should not having any null values, it should not it should be a correct data, and it should be in a readily usable format. So for that purpose, I do the processing. And once I have the data in here, so some people create a dashboards on top of it. Okay, dashboards, and some people use it for the machine learning models, for training the ML, training a model. And some people, there will be a business managers directly using the data for their decision making purpose. Okay, the main intention of having all the data in one location is to take a proper decision so that the business will be get improved. So that is what is a data warehouse, guys. It is also a one storage layer. And in this, the difference between the storage layer here and here is you have to understand that in the data warehouse, data is a processed data and readily usable format. We can directly consume the data for data driven decisions. So this is what is a data warehouse. Now you understand that there can be a multiple data sources and the data comes from it, and you try to ingest the data and you send it to the data lake, you process the data, you send it to the data warehouse. This is a common, typical, every project that the data world is having. There wouldn't be any much differences, guys. Okay, if you go to the any data warehousing things, this is a common thing. Okay, there will be having it. Either their multiple data sources can be different. Okay, but the thing is like they wanted to ingest the data. There should be a ingestion pipeline, and there should be a data lake or a staging layer, and there will be a data processing pipeline which will be getting data processing. Nothing but an ETL can be a data processing pipeline, or a data pipeline can be a data processing pipeline. So you create a data processing pipeline with the help of a plenty of tools that we will see in our course. And one more thing is like you send it to the data warehouse. What is a data warehouse? We will see. So now I understood that this is a project flow in every project. Okay. But can you tell me, sir, what is this RDBMS? What is this data lake? What is this data warehouse? Can you tell me the brief explanation or the main differences between each and every point? Okay. Meanwhile, during this, until this one, if you guys have any questions, can you ask me? Any questions, guys, until this point? Okay. So if you do not have any questions, let me try to explain. 1 minute, guys. Give me a 1 minute. Okay, let me tell you what is a data lake, what is a data warehouse one by one, and we will see what are the tools that in data lake is a in general term, guys. So what are the tools considered as a data lake in the on-premises AWS, Azure, and GCP, and we will see one by one. Okay. For example, let me try to create a small pipe. I think I have created here, right? So we will use the same thing. So here we have a data lake, right? So let me define you what is a data lake. Very important for us to learn what is a data lake. Okay. Sir, I'll just say a data lake is a centralized repository to store your data and retrieve the data. Why I am defining it right now, I could have mentioned it directly, but now you understand that there is a data lake which will be acting as a storage layer here. In this one, it is storing the data from this end, and I am getting the data from this end and storing it here. And if I look at from this end, I am retrieving the data from the storage layer. Okay, so from this diagram, you will be able to understand two things. A storage layer, a data lake is storing the data from multiple data sources, and I did not bothered about what kind of a data I'm storing. And one more thing from this end, if I look at it, whenever there is a need of retrieving the data from the data lake, I can able to read it. I can able to do that. So two things that we can say. That is the definition, guys. When you know the requirement, you'll be able to understand the definition as well. And it is a centralized repo to store and retrieve the data. That's it. The definition is simple, guys. It is a centralized repository to store your data or retrieve your data as per the requirement. I'm not going to mention that. As per your requirement, it is not that unnecessarily you store the data. You know that somewhere, some point of time, you need it to be retrieved and you need it to be processed. So a centralized repository to store and retrieve your data according to your requirement. And so now tell me what kind of a data I can store here in the data lake. So if you ask me that question, I will say any kind of a data you can store, sir. So when I say any kind of a data, what are the different classifications of the data? You know that, right, guys? So it can be, you can store structured data, you can store unstructured or semi-structured data, and you can also store unstructured data. There is no data class. I mean, there is no restriction on the kind of a file. Any kind of a data you can store, guys. Either it can be a structured one, unstructured one, or semi-structured one. Okay, that is also easy, sir. Sir, any restriction on the file size? Sir, I wanted to store some 10 GB CSV file. Can I be able to store? Yes. Sir, I wanted to store some 100 GB. Yes. I wanted to store 1000 DB, 1 petabyte, one. So there is no restriction on the size of a file that you wanted to store. Okay. No restriction on the size of a file. Okay, any file format you can store. As I mentioned here, any kind of data means any file format. I can just say for easy purpose format. Okay, any file format, either it can be a structured one, unstructured one, semi-structured one, and there is no restriction on the file size. Any amount of data you can store. And one more thing is, sir, is there any restriction on the number of files? Sir, I can only store this number of files. No, there is no restriction on number of files. That means any number of files you can store here, any number of files, and there is no restriction on the size. And that's the reason people say in one word, it is a scalable, okay, a scalable and secured platform to store your data in one location. Okay, that's the reason by mentioning all of those things, the above 4 points, I can just say a centralized repository to store the data, store in a scalable and secured platform. And when I say stored when I say a secured platform, you can think about access control. So how do you control your access of the file? You can worry about version control. We will see all about these things. What is a retention policy? How I can put a retention policy on my files? All these things you can go. Okay, so that is the reason I have mentioned it as a secured platform. When I say secured, so you upload one file to your data lake and you have to worry about who can access this file. Okay, if you wanted to put a restriction that okay, this number of people should only access the data, and in that case you can go for the access control. And you wanted to go for a versions, in that case you can go for the version control. And you wanted to be available that file until next 2 days, next 3 days, 1 year, 6 months. So you can also put some retention policy on your file for some period of time, so that the file cannot be deleted until that retention period. So you can put that kind of a policies as well on top of your data inside the data lake. That's the reason I have mentioned as a secured platform. When I say secured, you can able to make sure that it does not have a access to all the people. It is no public access. It is only controlled access. Okay. So this is what is a data lake, guys. Very important terminology nowadays in a big data world. When we are worried about a data, very important thing is data lake. A data lake is a centralized repository to store and retrieve the data. Okay, any kind of a data, any number of files, no restriction on the file size. It is a scalable and secured platform to store and retrieve your data. That's it. That's what I wanted to mention, a data lake. Okay, and sir, in a data lake, do we have any processing tool? Okay, in a data lake, we do not have any processing tool inbuilt. So if there is no such kind of a thing, guys. So if I go to the data warehouse, I will be able to explain that point. First, we will go to the data warehouse and we will see. Okay, this is what data lake, right? Now you understand what is a data lake. Okay, now let me tell you what is a data warehouse. Guys, don't put anything on the screen. Okay, sorry. Someone is writing, guys. Okay, data warehouse. Very important terminology, because you send the data to the data warehouse to be available for all the downstream people. Very important terminology, and there are plenty of the tools for the data warehouse. Okay, let me tell you now one more thing. What is a data warehouse? A data warehouse is again a centralized repo. Oh, who is this guy? Okay, so again the same thing. Guys, don't use this. Don't annotate yourself. Okay, please. Don't draw anything on the screen. Okay. Again, the same thing, sir. A data warehouse is also a centralized repository. A centralized repository to collect, store, transform, and analyze data. Analyze the data. Okay. What is a data warehouse, sir? A data warehouse is a centralized repository to collect, store, transform, and analyze the data. Okay, what we are doing in the data warehouse, we are collecting the data, we are storing the data, we are transforming the data, and finally we can able to analyze the data as well. Okay, now tell me, sir, what kind of data I can store in the data warehouse? In a data warehouse, you can only store the data. I mean, if we are talking about a structure, we can only store structured data. So when I say structured data, what does that mean, sir? The data will be in the form of a tables. So tabular data. Okay, this is one more point, sir. When I say a data warehouse, we can able to do what, sir? We can able to collect the data, store the data, transform the data, and analyze the data. And one more thing, we can store the data only related to the structured. We cannot store any other data. And why do we need the data warehouse? A data warehouse, we can, if we have a data warehouse, I can analyze the data. The main intention of a data warehouse is to improve the business, by analyzing the historical data. Okay, this is what is very good point, sir. So some people ask you in the interview, what is a data warehouse? A data warehouse is a centralized location for collect, store, transform, and analyze the data. That is what you. What is the main purpose of having a data warehouse? The main purpose of having a data warehouse is to improve the business by analyzing the historical data. How do you improve the business by analyzing the data? If I get to know the data, if I analyze the data properly, I'll be able to see the insights. I will be able to better serve my customers so that I can able to improve the business. I can get more customers. So that's how you can improve the business by analyzing the data, by taking a proper decisions, right? So that is the main intention. And one more is, it is also a scalable platform. It is also a secured platform. Okay. And now you have to understand, sir, collecting, storing is fine. What about this transformation and analyze? How do you do that? So that's the main intention of a data warehouse, guys. You see, a data warehouses are comes up with a built-in query engine. Okay, a data warehouses are comes up with a built-in query engine, and most of the times these built-in query engines are capable of running the SQL queries. Okay, so a data warehouse, you wanted to analyze the data. If you wanted to analyze the data, you need to do the transformation. If you wanted to do the transformation, you need to use some kind of a language. Most of the times we are dealing with the databases, so we need a database language, that is SQL. So a data warehouses are comes up with a built-in query engine that are capable of running the SQL queries or SQL like queries. Okay, and you can also go for the optimization, storage optimizations. Okay. For securing the platform, you can apply the policy tags, you can create the views, you can access the, you can go for the access control and retention policies. Okay. So now you can able to understand the difference between the both of them. In a data lake, you do not have a built-in query engine to process the data, but in the data warehouse, you have a built-in query engine to process the data. Okay, this is very important point, guys. So the main intention of a data lake is to store the data, any amount of data. Okay, later point of time, we wanted to retrieve the data and do processing. But the main intention of a data warehouse to improve the data by analyzing the data, improve the business by analyzing the data. How do you analyze the data? Without a language, you cannot do analysis, right? You need to have one query engine so that you can able to analyze the data. That's the reason data warehouses are comes up with a built-in query engine. They are capable of running the SQL queries. You can also go for the storage optimizations. You can also go for the you can also create many tables because it is a structured data, tabular data, rows and columns will be there. Schema has to be master properly specified, everything are there. So this is the main intention of a data warehouse. Now you understand that what is the difference between the data warehouse and data lake. Okay, hope you got some idea. So here I am mentioning my material. So in our upcoming classes, I will store this material with you guys. So this is where you can see the difference between the data lake and data warehouse. Okay, you get a data from a multiple locations and you put it in the data lake and you process it and send it to the data warehouse. This is the data lake, a centralized repository to store and retrieve the data, any kind of data, any number of files, no restrictions, scalable and secured platform. And data warehouse to improve the business by analyzing the historical data, a centralized repository to collect, to store, transform and analyze the data. We can store structured data or a tabular data. When I say tabular, that means rows and columns will be there. Schema must be specified properly. It is a scalable platform, secured platform. When I say secured platform, you can say policy tags for sensitive data and P2 information, personally identifiable information, views will be there, access control, retention policies. And it comes up with a built-in query engine capable of running the SQL and SQL-like query storage optimizations. This is what is. If you ask me what are the examples, okay, what are the examples for the data lake and data warehouse, I will tell you these things, sir. If you go to the on-premises, the best example for the data lake is HDFS. We will see in our upcoming classes what is a HDFS and all. HDFS is a Hadoop distributed file system. And in AWS, we have a S3 buckets. And in Azure, we have a Azure blob storages. Okay. Okay, so here it is, guys. So in the best example for the data lake is in the on-premises is a HDFS. In AWS, it is a S3 buckets. In Azure blob storages and ADLS is there. In GCP, we have a Google Cloud Storage. And for the data warehouse, we in on-premises, you can look at the Hive Teradata. AWS Redshift is there. Azure Synapse Analytics is there. GCP BigQuery is there. Very famous. Snowflake is also there. So these are the examples for the data lake as data warehouse. Why I have mentioned you all of these things is like very important for us to understand the difference between all of these things. Okay, so this is one thing, guys. Now let me tell you. Now we understand that some typical architecture, right? If I wanted to go to look at the GCP, if I go to GCP, what could be a typical architecture for the GCP data engineering? Okay, GCP data engineering, guys. Okay, if I go to the GCP data engineering, what are the tools are there for data ingestion, storing, data warehouse, data lake, data processing? So that typical architecture we will see here, so that we will be able to understand how the data engineering can be available in the GCP as well as Azure. Next thing. Okay, let us see one by one. First thing, our main intention is to send the data to the data warehouse. So when I say data warehouse in the in the GCP, we have a modern data warehouse, that is why it is not working. Okay. Okay. If you go to the data in GCP, that means Google Cloud Platform, you have a very important modern data warehouse tool, that is a BigQuery, guys. Okay, BigQuery is acting as a data warehouse in the GCP, and you wanted to worry about a data lake, right? So the data lake, Google Cloud Storage is acting as a, I'll just say, give a full name, guys, cloud storage. Okay, cloud storage is acting as a data lake. Okay, this is your data warehouse, this is your data lake. And one more thing, sir, for data processing, you wanted to do the data processing as well, right? So for the data processing, there are plenty of the tools, sir. I wanted to mention those tool names one by one. Okay, first thing is you can go for the data flow. Instead of that, I'll just say for the data processing, guys, you can use data flow, you can use data proc, you can use data fusion, you can use cloud composer, you can use data flow, data fusion, cloud composer, data prep. Okay, these are the data processing tools. Why do we need these data processing tools, guys? You have the data in the cloud storage, you wanted to process the data and send it to the BigQuery, right? So that's where you have, for the processing purpose, you have these many tools available in the GCP. You can use according to your requirement. What is the data flow? What is the data proc? What is the data fusion, composer, and data prep? We will see in our upcoming classes. But the data processing purpose, you have these many tools available in the GCP. Okay, so this is something that you have to understand. What about RDBMS solutions, sir? For example, what about the RDBMS solutions? So if you wanted to store your data, you can go to the Cloud SQL. It is an RDBMS solution. If you wanted to store your data, and you have a cloud spanner is also there. Okay, so these are the RDBMS solutions in the GCP. And if you wanted to store the data in the NoSQL databases, that is, you have Bigtable. Bigtable, if you wanted to store. So these are the structured data, that means SQL databases. This is a NoSQL database, sir. Okay, and if you have your data coming from a multiple applications, you can also keep from application. App Engine is there, Compute Engine is there. Okay, and Kubernetes Engine is also there. If your application is running in any of those things, if you wanted to get your data from those things, App Engine, web applications and IoT, can also get the data from these locations. Okay, these are your sources. Okay, once you have the data in these locations, if you wanted to send, it is not only that, sir. If your data available in your on premises also, you can directly store it in the cloud storage. Okay, first thing, you store it in the cloud storage. Ingestion, you directly ingest into the cloud storage and send it to the BigQuery. And on top of it, if you wanted to create a dashboards, all of those things you can able to do. Okay, and one more thing is also there for ingestion process. You can also use PubSub for streaming data processing. Streaming data ingestion. You can also use PubSub. So these many tools are available in the GCP, guys. So Cloud SQL, what is a Cloud SQL? Why do we need a Cloud SQL? In a Cloud SQL, what are the database engines available? Those things we will see. What is a Cloud Spanner? Why it is different from the Cloud SQL? What is the main advantage of using a Cloud Spanner? Where I can use the Cloud Spanner? What are the use cases of the Cloud Spanner? Likewise, for the big table, cloud storage, data flow, data proc, data fusion, composer, data frame, PubSub, and BigQuery. And learning about all of these things and how do I manage about the user and access management. Learning all of these things is one thing, but how do you manage the user management or access management in the GCP? That is where very important thing is IAM. Okay, so learning each and every tool for the data engineering and again managing the user and access management, managing the access of a user and creating a service accounts, creating a user defined service accounts, all of those things we will be able to learn in the IAM. So if a person wanted to use the BigQuery, what kind of a services, what kind of a permissions he need to use that BigQuery? Okay. So what kind of a roles we can assign to him? All of those things. What is the role? What is the permission? What is the Google account? What is the service account? What is the list of principle of least privilege? All of those things we will be able to learn in our session, guys. Okay. So this is a typical architecture of a GCP data engineering. Someone asking a question. Processing is stateful or stateless? What does that mean, guys? So processing is, for example, sometimes it is stateful, sometimes it is stateless. Okay. So you can also, so one more thing I forgot to mention. So we will also be learning about cloud functions as well. Okay, where one more important thing. Okay. So these things that we are going to learn in our sessions for related to the data engineering, guys. Okay. So there will be RDBMS. There will be a big table and there will be IoT web application data sources, and we get the data to the Google Cloud Storage and we try to process the data with help of these tools, and we directly finally send the data to the BigQuery. Okay, this is our main agenda of GCP data engineering, guys. In our course, we are going to learn about GCP data engineering. Okay, and one more thing. So let us, while we are learning about a data engineering, do we have any prerequisite for learning this course? Okay, because this can be a question, right? So far we know what is a data engineering. What is engineering, guys? Data engineering is a process of designing, building, maintaining the infrastructure required for collecting the data, storing the data, processing the data, analyzing the large volumes of the data. Okay. In a data engineering, the activities that we do. Okay. I just want you to understand, guys, what is a data engineering. If you don't, so let us not worry about what is a data engineering. Let us learn about what are the activities that the data engineering do. Data engineering activities. At least this is very important point. It comes up from the basic concepts only. Okay, when you say data engineering activity, the very first thing is data ingestion. People say this is a life cycle also. In a life cycle, you have to ingest the data, data transformation, data modeling. Some people say data modeling. Okay, finally, analyzing and warehousing. Analyzing, and one more thing, data quality and governance. These are the activities that we have to do. We need to do the, so this is what is a typical life cycle of a data engineering, guys. You need to ingest the data, you need to process the data, transform the data, you need to analyze the data, you need to ensure the quality of the data. Okay, during this process, we are going to work with various tools and technologies such as we mentioned here, databases, data lakes, ETLs, data processing pipelines, data processing tools, cloud services, everything. Okay, integration of all of these things also. So this is what is the data engineering activities. So what are the prerequisite for this course, if you ask me? Prerequisite for data engineering, guys. Okay, I would suggest, I would expect minimal, at least medium knowledge on SQL. Very important, very important. Without this one, sir, if you, I mean, at least you have some basic knowledge related to the SQL, that would be fine. But if you are having a medium knowledge on SQL, I am telling you guys, this course will be very helpful for you to get a lot of knowledge on your data engineering. You can add your, you can also go for certification, you can also go for high one more job, and plenty of things you're gonna be learning about Google Cloud Platform with the data engineering. All the concepts into the data engineering will be covered, and also with help of the one cloud platform. Nowadays every project, every company is moving towards the cloud, at least. So if you are learning about one cloud, that means you are also learning about other clouds as well. Familiar, you are going to familiar with all the data engineering concepts as well as cloud platform, one thing. And the minimum prerequisite that I am going to ask, or that I am going to expect from my students, is that SQL. Okay, and if you do not know the Python, that is fine, but what I would say is, like, from day one onwards, start learning about basics of Python, just the basics of Python. That's enough. I'm not going to explain that. I'm not expecting you to learn the Python. At least some basics. So you go to the YouTube, find some basic concepts. So what is the data types? What is a list? What is a tuple? What is an array? What is a dictionary? All those basic concepts. Okay, all those data types. And what is a map? What is a reduce? What is a lambda function? That's it. If you learn those basic concepts of Python, that's it. Okay, because all other concepts like real-time data engineering, we are going to learn in our session. Okay, this is expected so that I can directly go for the databases, data warehouses, complex queries, and I will be able to create it. For this one, because where we have few tools, such as, if I go to the data flow, I'll use Python. If I go to the data proc, I'll use Python. And if I'll go to the composer, I'll use Python, a bit of Python. If you already know the basics of Python, that's well and good, I'm telling you. But coming to here, we are going to cover SQL, Spanner, cloud storage. So it's going to take at least 15 to 20 days. Meanwhile, if you complete your basics of Python, I am telling you guys, you are going to be, you can, build your career as a data engineer in the cloud. I'm telling you, there are plenty of opportunities outside. People are ready to pay a lot of money as well for those people who are having a good knowledge on the GCP. So this course going to be very helpful for you. The only basic prerequisite for the course is like medium knowledge on SQL. And if you don't know the Python at all, just to start from tomorrow onwards, daily 15 minutes enough. If you spend a daily 15 minutes for next 10 days, that's it. Okay, within 2 hours, 3 hours, you will be able to learn all the basics about the Python. Okay, after that, if you learn the basics about the Python, we will be seeing, okay, in our course, what are the languages that we are learning now. So the language that we are learning, SQL development, guys, PySpark, okay, and Python. I think the SQL development, PySpark. I'm going to tell you, if you know the Python, we will be able to learn the PySpark, guys. Python with the Spark libraries. Okay, so this is going to be very helpful, very similar to the SQL. It is not different, guys. It is very similar to the SQL. Okay, so this is what. If you wanted to go for SQL development, you need to know the basic SQL. If you wanted to go to the PySpark development, you need to learn about the basics of Python. If these two tools, if you learn, you can build your career in the big data world as a data engineer, and you will be able to get a lot of opportunities. A lot of doors will be open for you to enter, because there are plenty of people who are looking for a SQL developer. There are plenty of the people who are looking for a PySpark developer. And if you come up with the data engineering and learning about all of these things, it is not about tools, guys. We just need not to learn about coding. we should know the actual development. The actual development we have to learn. The actual optimizations we have to learn. The actual PySpark coding we have to learn. And one more thing, additionally, we have to learn about all of these concepts. What is a Cloud SQL spanner? What is a cloud storage? Data flow, data proc, data fusion, composer, data proc, data prep. And one more thing I want you to understand, it is not that concept wise we are learning. We are having a 4 to 5 projects as well. Okay. And we are having a Cloud SQL migration project. We have a data flow batch and streaming data pipeline project. We have a data proc project with a PySpark, and a data fusion composer creation of a DAX project is also there. And data, we are not learning the data prep, guys. We can remove this one. Okay, data fusion, data prep, both are same. That's the reason I just don't want to focus on that. And we have a data warehousing project where we are learning about the partitions, clustering, storage optimizations, nested tables, as well as clustered, all of those things. Okay. And we are one more project is on cloud functions as well for triggering purpose. Okay, very interesting topics. Yes, I'm telling you, these things are very interesting. While you are learning, you think that okay, data engineering is not simple, and it is going to have. I'm telling you, there is a lot demand for the data engineers now, because just only the simple thing you have to understand: data keep on grows. Okay, if the data keep on growing, data engineers will be having in a demand roles. Okay, if you go and look at the data engineering, highest paid jobs in the world is a data engineering, not even ML, not in a machine learning, not even full stack developers, only the data engineers, because the foundation of a data world is a data engineering. The highly paid jobs are in the data engineering. So even the data scientist or a machine learning or a Power BI or Tableau developers, if they wanted to survive, they have to have a data engineering team. Otherwise, it's very hard. So data engineering is a foundation. We must, and there is a very good demand. I'm telling you, there's a very good demand. There will be a demand because data keeps on growing. If the data is growing, data engineer will be in a demand. If otherwise, I mean, data will not reduce. First thing, data will not reduce. Data keeps on grows, and data is money. Okay, money for us as a data engineer. There will always be a demand for you guys. So this is what you have to understand: basic prerequisites and engineering. These are the languages that we are going to learn in our session. Let me show you. So this is a material that I am going to share you guys. So I will provide the access to my notes. So where you will be having all the available notes. Okay, how to create a free account, Google Cloud Storage. What is a Cloud SQL? What is a spanner? You can also see here we have a page also. For example, if I go to the Cloud SQL, I have what is a Cloud SQL? All of these things and some other things also. Cloud spanner. What is the difference between all of these things? IAM concepts and data warehousing. In a data warehousing, what is a in a data warehousing? We are learning about these things. What is a data warehouse? What is a data mart? Difference between the data warehouse, data mart, top-down approach, bottom approach, OLTP, OLAP, dimension modeling. What is a fact table? What is a dimension table? What is a star schema? What is a snowflake schema? Types of fact tables and dimension tables. Okay, I just want you to understand the data warehousing must. Then only I will start about the BigQuery. Introduction to the BigQuery. What is a BigQuery? What is a data warehouse? What is a BigQuery? Because BigQuery is one of the data warehouse. So let us see all of those things. After that, working with the BigQuery. What is a partitions and clustering? Okay.
Yeah,
all of these things. And the netted and repeated fields. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Yep. Someone asked it out.
No, BigQuery means store the data.
Sorry, BigQuery means what?
Store the data, sir.
It's not only about storing the data, right? So think like this: you have a very huge data. Okay, very means very huge. Big data, we call it as a big data. So when you have a big data, you wanted to just not only just store the data, okay, and the very different point about the very important point about the BigQuery is that it can store both structured data. It can store both batch data as well as streaming data also. because normal data warehouses will not directly store the streaming data. That's the reason BigQuery called as a modern data warehouse. And one more thing is like it is capable of running the SQL queries. Those SQL queries, whatever the data you are trying to retrieve, whenever you write a query, and that query is going to take very less time, even though if it is processing a large amount of the data. So that's the reason you can also see here somewhere I might have mentioned here. Okay, you see the performance of the BigQuery, very important thing is terabytes of the data in seconds only you will be able to retrieve the data. So when you write a query, so this is something. Okay, and we'll also learning about the data warehousing concepts, nested tables, repeated fields. What are the best practices? Okay, how do I ensure that? How do I create a nested table or a repeated fields? All of these things. Okay, how do I automate all of these things? Let us see. What is a data proc? Very important thing. This is where we are learning about a Hadoop ecosystem and Spark. Learning about a Spark. What is the difference between the Hadoop and Spark? Okay, and why Spark and PySpark. And we are learning about how to write a code with the PySpark and a case study, and how to create a cluster, real-time project. This is the real-time PySpark project. Okay, and I'm giving you that real-time projects as well as material, guys. This is something that you can actually practice it. I will provide you the data set, I will provide you the codes as well, so that you will be able to do it. And one more thing, data flow. What is the Apache Beam? What is how to create a batch pipeline? What is a pub sub? What is a data flowing streaming pipeline? How to create it, and how to create a custom pipelines. Okay, and Airflow, very important tool. What is a Airflow or a composer? Okay, so these things, all of these things we have here, and how to create a DAG, a composer DAG, and this is a project: Cloud SQL, GCS, BigQuery, BigQuery to BigQuery, and this is one project. And this is something that I mean, I just have to explain how to create a DAG. There are four steps in the DAG creation. So these things I have mentioned here. And data fusion, introduction, and one project will be there, guys. Introduction will be there, one project will be there. Cloud functions, introduction will be there, one or two scenarios of the project will also be there. Okay, and here finally in our session I am going to tell you how you can put your projects in your resume, how you can put your data migration project in your resume, so that you can able to create your robust resume. Okay, basic concepts are here. Course content, if you wanted to see course content, you can see here. Okay, cloud storage, cloud SQL, cloud spanner, BigTable, BigQuery, data proc, data flow, PubSub, cloud composer, data fusion, and real-time projects. Okay, 5 it is only the main projects, guys. There are several case studies, mini projects, and assignments for you also there. Sometimes while we were discussing about the BigQuery, I will provide you some assignments. I will provide you data sets and questions so that you can able to complete those things as well. Some e-commerce data sets, some questions. Some IMDb data sets, I will provide you some questions. And I will provide you the material as well. This I will provide the access to you guys so that you will be able to access my notes. Okay, this is one more thing. And yeah, now if you guys have any questions, you can ask me. Before that, I just wanted to one more thing I wanted to tell you. From tomorrow onwards, at 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Okay. From tomorrow onwards, from 7:30 to 8:30 a.m., we are going to start our regular classes. Okay. Okay. This is our timings, guys. From tomorrow onwards, 7:30 to 8:30, we are having a regular classes. Daily 1 hour. Daily means Monday to Friday. 1 hour, guys. Sorry. Monday to Friday, 1 hour. And one more thing is like I am going to share the material and access I will tell you. We are not just learning, sir. I'm gonna tell you how to create a free tier account in the GCP so that we will be able to create. However, I'm creating the projects. You can also create for next 3 months. Okay, the access will be there for next 3 months. And one more thing, daily recordings will be shared. Okay, so this is what it is. No worries about all of these things. Focus on that. From tomorrow onwards, we are going to have a regular classes from 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning. Now tell me, guys, the course duration will be almost, it will be 40 hours, sir. When I say 40 hours, it could go up to 2 months, I believe. Okay, less than 2 months. Good. Okay, less than 2 months. Less than 2 months. 40 hours it will take, less than 2 months. So this is all about our course, guys. Yeah. Now some people are asking some questions. I'm going to answer that. Meanwhile, if someone having a few more questions, you can also put it in the chat. You can directly unmute yourself and talk. Meanwhile, is it so any language is mandatory for data engineering? Yes, that is structured query language, that is SQL. Is it good to pursue this course for people with the career gap? Yes, guys, you need not to worry about a career gap and all of those things. This course will help you getting a knowledge for at least 3 to 4 years of experience. Okay, and is it Google data engineering course or a Google admin course? It is a data engineering course, but as you admin details also covered here. Okay.
Yes, sir. Some doubts, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I am a SQL developer. I am SQL admin, sir. 4 years of experience. I have to move the in GCP.
Correct.
Is it work for you?
Yes. So
Yeah,
I'm
this is a
telling you guys,
but
if you
this
are
is a
coming from,
development or admin?
yeah, it is a development. So if you are coming from a SQL background or a Spark background or a PySpark background or any data development background or any support background also, if you wanted to build your career in a very demanding roles, highly paid jobs, and if you wanted to be in a trending jobs, then I'm telling you data engineering is a very trending job. And one more thing is like they are going to pay highly. And one more thing is like why we are talking about all of these things is like there are plenty of opportunities now. If you just create your resume today and put it in the Naukri, you will get at least 3 to 4 interviews scheduled in a 1 week, 3 to 4 in a 1 week itself. So there are plenty of calls. I'm telling you, if you are coming from a SQL background or a NoSQL background or a support background, or you wanted to move from non-IT to IT, or you wanted to move from mainframes or Python or Java to any other background to the data engineering. So we are going to have our session from basic scratch to the advanced. So this is what it is. And yeah, and the roles offered is data engineer, okay, big data developer, SQL developer, PySpark developer, okay, cloud engineer, cloud developer. Processing engineer.
Yeah, but there is a little bit of knowledge in SQL, sir. SQL means Oracle. Yeah.
That
Few
is
years
fine.
back,
Any
yeah.
SQL is fine. Any SQL is fine. Okay. And is it, will you cover all the syllabus in 45 days only, or there can be any extension to this? No. Okay, I will be able to cover this most 40 to 45 hours. I will take, guys. Each and every topic, as I promised here, I will complete each and every topic within. I believe that within 45 hours it will be able to complete it. Less than 45.
Sir, sorry to bother you, hello.
Yep.
Sir, from tomorrow onwards, can we log in through the same link?
I think the link will be shared to you guys. Okay.
New link will be shared, right?
Yeah, new link will be shared to you guys. From tomorrow onwards, new link will be shared to you. And if you need that link, I can paste it here.
Sure.
Yeah. And someone asked if it is useful for 3-year BTech engineering students. Of course, it will be very useful for you guys. If you wanted to enter into the data engineering, it will be useful. Job roles I have mentioned here. Any support data engineer job also I have mentioned here. Someone asking few more questions here in the chat. I am 42 from Sydney, non-IT background, learn already manual testing API and SQL. Possible to learn data? Of course, if you are already learning SQL and you wanted to enter into, if you have a zeal to enter into the data engineering, I'm telling you plenty of opportunities will be there. It will be really helpful for you to build your career in the very trending job. That is one thing. How many projects we would be complete? Can you paste the link here, please? Yes. We are going to cover almost 4 to 5 major projects, and there are plenty of mini projects are there, guys. So that is one thing. And the link for tomorrow's class, I'm going to share it here. Give me a minute. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Meanwhile, if you guys have any questions, sir, I have a career gap of knowledge of it. No knowledge of it. Industry. Is it possible to? Of course, sir. You don't have worry. Your name is Rajesh. Rajesh, don't worry about anything. I am telling you one thing. Just remember, if you have a zeal to learn, okay, if you have a zeal to learn, data engineering is a very not easy. I would say it's not that easy, but easy to start. Easy to start and enter into the data world. Okay, that's one thing I would say. So don't worry about if you have a gap. If you know how to fill a gap, that's easy. If you wanted to start your career as a fresher also, that is also fine.
Hi, this is Sudhir here.
Yeah.
Actually, I have experience in a VMware platform, so I'm trying to move this cloud platform. As you know, these days cloud is most demanding.
Yes.
And I have no knowledge on this cloud platform. Okay.
Okay.
So in the cloud, GCP admin and this data engineering, both are different, or
GCP admin is the one who will be taking care of just admin activities, but data engineering is a developer. Admin will be
so
there
in this
for admin,
developing, coding also required.
So we of course we are learning about the SQL also, right? So that is fine. That is enough.
Only SQL. Okay.
Yes.
And you told regarding that project things. So that is a real-time project or some?
Yes, these are the real-time projects. So these are the things that I have worked on my project that I have created as a project here. Okay. When I was working in a GCP, I have created these projects. So these projects are very helpful for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as per your suggestion, I'm having the VMware experience, but I'm trying to moving this data engineering. So how it will be easy to understand, or
first thing is like if you are attentive everyday class, and if you are learning everyday topic by everyday itself, and if you have a time to spend and learn and practically, I'm telling you guys, this course will be very easy for those candidates who have time at least 2 hours a day. This course will be helpful for you, those who have it at least 2 hours a day. 1 hour for the class, 1 hour for the practice. That's it. I am not asking anything. If you have that much time, I'm telling you this course will be after 45 hours. You will only tell me, sir, I have learned a lot of things. Now I am ready for the interview. Can you please share me the resumes? I will put it in the resume. So
and this course is okay. And this course is completely based on the interview related, right? And if we have some doubt or something, then after that we can we can ask you and you can.
Correct.
Okay.
During the course, you can ask me. After that also, if you have any questions, you can ask.
No. Why I'm asking means after finish this course only, we will try to search the job.
Correct. Sure. Yeah.
Then once we attend the interview 2 to 3, then only we'll get some interview questions, and at that time only we will come
Not
to
only
know
that, one more thing also I will tell you. I have already prepared a few resumes. First thing, those are the sample resumes that I can share with you for preparing your resume. And one more thing, I will also share you the interview questions, commonly asked interview questions. So those are the common questions. If they are asking 10 questions out of 10, from my list, 5 questions will be there. Okay. So that is there. So don't worry about that. Because even in my company, I take interviews.
Okay. So the main part is SQL is required, right?
SQL, main part is SQL. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions anyone have? Thanks, sir. We will be there in new project. Will there be a new project that we can showcase as a real-time experience in some companies for future? Of course, that's what I'm telling you guys. So I will create 2 projects, which will be, you can directly put in your resume. Okay. So 2 to 3 projects I will explain that you can put in your resume first thing. And many projects, many things I will explain. And I will also tell you at the last day or last 2 sessions, what I will tell you is like how you can prepare your resume from these projects. Okay, end-to-end resume. So for example, when you wanted to put one project, so how I can put it. And if you wanted to explain the same thing in the interview also, how you can explain that. And because by the time we will be learning all the tools, right? So that time you will be able to, okay, this tool will be for this purpose. We already learned this. I wanted to practice in that way. Okay, so resume preparation and interview explanation about the project, and you can directly put these projects in your resume itself directly, and you can explain in the interview. It will be very useful for you guys, I'm telling you. You can even showcase, yes. Yes, some product companies will ask data structures and algorithms. But there are nowadays few companies will asking, few product-based companies are not asking. So I have worked in a product-based company, and at that point of time, I know zero about DSL, data structures and algorithms. But I was working in a very top product-based company. I had worked. Okay, now I am working in a MNC, guys. Okay. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Hi, Shaidhul.
Yep.
With this training, we need to showcase ourselves as experienced guy, right? How many years we can showcase in the resume?
This will be, I'm telling you guys, 3 to 4 years you can go for the, you can go for. Okay.
So 3 to 4 years relevant with GCP data engineer.
Correct. All the projects related to it, we will be covering, yes.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Okay.
Hi, Saidhul.
Yep. Hi, guys. Yep.
As I said, I had 5 years of career gap due to personal reasons. I want to get back again into corporate field.
Okay.
So how can we showcase this gap in case if we have to apply for jobs again? I mean,
so first thing, for those people who have a gap, I'm not sure you guys may be having how you can fill it. Okay, you may be having, if you wanted to enter into the corporate field, you are the best person to know how you can plan it. But if you are filling that gap and wanted to enter into the data field, I can assure that this course will really helpful for you.
oh, okay.
Yeah, but you have to take care of your filling the gap. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, guys. Any other questions, anyone? Okay, guys. Tomorrow's session, we will start with the Google Cloud Storage. So while we are talking about each and every topic, I have not mentioned any basic concepts. My module 1 was basic concepts, guys, but I have not mentioned my basic concepts because while I was talking about the Google Cloud Storage, I wanted to talk about all the things about a Google Cloud, not only Google Cloud Storage, because it is a data lake, right? I wanted to talk about data lake, Google Cloud Storage, everything, access control, all of those things, concept by concept. So that's the reason I used to have a module 1, but students are forgetting about the basic concepts when I was talking later. By the time they're forgetting, so that's the reason basic concepts are covered here in every topic itself. So this is thing, and will share you this thing. I think there is a link, guys, for the what I would say curriculum. You can also go through the curriculum. And someone is asking a question. Please share recordings for today's session. Sure, guys, no worries. I will share you the recording session. Could you please also share the repo with this notes and also what to be ready for for tomorrow? Yeah. So I'll expect you for tomorrow. This is our plan, guys. So what I want to do tomorrow is, so we now know that we are using our Google Cloud platform, right? GCP for GCP. We are entering into the GCP for data engineering. So the very first tomorrow, what I will do is like, I want you to create a free tier account. Okay. What I wanted to do, sir, I want you to create a free tier account in GCP, so that you will be able to create a bucket in the Google Cloud Storage. You can able to create a pipelines. You can able to create whatever the things you wanted to do, right? So this is what, for this thing, if I wanted to create a free tier account, I expect you to have a debit card. Okay, just a debit card having 2 rupees. Okay, so this is what is the expectation for tomorrow for creating an account, guys. A debit card of 2 rupees or a credit card also, that is fine, debit or credit. Some people, the debit card are not working. If you are having a credit card also, that is fine. A debit card or credit card with the 2 rupees inside it, that is fine. We can able to create a free tier account that is worth of $300 for next 90 days. Okay, for next 90 days, if you wanted to practice anything, if you wanted to experiment anything in the GCP, you can able to use this one. $300 is a lot amount of money, guys. 24,000 rupees they are providing you with this free tier account. So this is what you have to get. Tomorrow you have to be ready with your debit or credit card. I will try to show you how to create a free tier account. Okay, once the free tier account is ready, we will be able to start with the topics. That is, first topic is Google Cloud Storage. Okay, this is what is a topic. Yeah, any questions, sir? Okay, this is the agenda for tomorrow, guys. Okay, yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can wind up the session.
One more question from my side, and this is Madhav. Sir, can you help me out in the cracking the interview after this course?
Helping you out the cracking the interviews, guys. Most of my students after the course, they are trying to, you know, I mean, what I would say, cracking the interviews on their own. So if you still wanted to need any help from me, then we can for sure help you on that. That's not a big problem. You can connect with our team. Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah. Any other questions, anyone? So today I'm not sharing that, please, OneNote link, guys. So once the group is created for everything, I will share you maybe 2 days. After 2 days, I will share you the links for the OneNote. Yeah. Thank you all. I will paste the link for tomorrow's class. Okay. This is a link, guys, for tomorrow's class. I have pasted here. And yeah, any other questions anyone having? Okay, so I have pasted the links, sir. You can go through the course content and look at it here. Okay, thank you all. Thank you for your time. Yeah, have a great day. You will get the links via mails also. Don't worry about that. Okay, yeah. Thank you, guys. We will meet tomorrow at the same, at 7:30 a.m. in the morning. Thank you all.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Okay, bye. Thank you.